Low key. Coach, if you want to start us with an opening statement of some kind of matchup.
Okay, well,
To the floor.
we are just excited to be here in Bloomington, playing for the right to go to Madison Square Garden. Obviously, be playing this late into March, regardless of how old or young or new or old, veteran, inexperienced your basketball team is, it's great. So we had a nice little practice today. Our practice before the Clemson game was our best of the year, so my guys are enjoying playing. I'm enjoying coaching them, so as long as we can continue to do that and win, we'll play until there are no games left.
When you look at this Indiana team, what are the things that stand out to you the most? You know, who are the guys you look at and say, okay, those are the main drivers for this team?
Well, I mean, you got a lottery pick who has not played the last couple of games. You start with him. Jawan Morgan, you're familiar with him if you've watched college basketball the last several years. You'd start with those two guys. I mean, really, really good. But there's other players, you know, averaging between 8 and 11 or 12 points a game. All your starters, your two guard really shoots it well. He's a tremendous scorer. Your point guard has tremendous acceleration going both ways. Your wing is a strong kid that drives it, gets to the rim, looks very athletic. So, I mean, they're all very impressive to me.
So kind of looking at the trajectory for you guys this season, looked like you started out a bit slow on the road, losing your first 6 games, and you kind of turned it around with your road play, both to close the season and in the NIT. Was there, you know, a message sent and kind of flipped it, I guess, switch to get better on the road? What do you kind of account for that change?
Well, I think the biggest thing for us was we would go on the road, and early on, and for 10 of my scholarship players, it was the first time they had played in a college basketball game on the road, whoever that first game was. And we, you know, since 2010, prior to this year, we had been the single best road team in the country, percentage-wise. Obviously, we're not that anymore because we did lose a handful or more this year on the road early. But and we just played scared. We played tentative. We played, if we didn't make a shot or two, then we stopped defending. We stopped rebounding. And quite frankly, some games got out of control. And that hasn't been the case. But this year, early on, it did. And you have to have a short memory as a college basketball player, because it's not like football where you are able to, you know, you turn it over. You can go over on the side, you can look at your little iPad over there and you figure out what you did wrong, and then send the defense on. You have to get back and play defense, and you have to rebound. Then you have to go down and try to right your own wrongs quickly without you only have X amount of timeouts as coaches, and I'm not crazy about using timeouts anyway. I usually don't have much good to say during a timeout. But our guys, they weren't very good at that. And they got better as they got more understanding of what we were trying to get them to do. I want them to fight through adversity. I want them to, as much as they possibly can. And you know, I did use more timeouts early in the year to try to settle a very young team. But as they've gotten better and a better understanding, and they've just physically been able to make more plays and make more shots, we haven't needed that. We've been better on the road because of that. And it's just been fun to watch this team evolve. I mean, we've gotten a lot better in the last 8 weeks.
Coach, what did, you know, McDuffie and Haynes Jones and Eknike, you know, your older players, did they help you get through that early part and, you know, help lead you out of it a little bit?
Yeah, Jaime is a junior college transfer, so this is his first year with us. So he is an older player, as is Ricky Torres, but he's his first year in Division I. So I count those as far as the 10 new guys. But it's an interesting question, and I've answered this with a couple of ways all year long. What Marcus McDuffie and Samaje Haynes-Jones this year has been invaluable for us, because Marcus is used to winning 25 or more games, going to the NCAA tournament, having a lot of success, and it didn't look like our season was headed that way early on. And Samaje Haynes-Jones played about 200 minutes last year. He was my second most experienced player returning, but he was a senior and he had played in games. So those two guys never wavered. They didn't throw the young kids under the bus. They were positive. They were disgruntled. They were upset. They were angry at times, as we all were, but they never threw anyone under the bus. And they really have, Marcus McDuffie, I will always be very appreciative of him because I think he will be the bridge from one very nice era to another hopefully nice era coming up soon. And Samaje and he have been tremendous leaders. Neither one had been leaders prior to this. They had never been forced to lead. In fact, they were followers. They were just happy-go-lucky guys that went along with the flow. But this year, this will be a very big life lesson for them because they've had to develop leadership skills, and they've done a wonderful job.
Could you speak to the American Athletic, in light of UCF nearly knocking off Duke and Houston?
They did knock off Duke, didn't they? That's what I saw.
You think it's an underrated league? Or just?
Oh yeah, it's a good league, man. It's the best league I've ever coached in, and not only do you have tremendous players, and you've got a kid like Aubrey Dawkins yesterday, Johnny's son. He may have played himself into an early entry type situation yesterday. What I saw, he was phenomenal. And last year we had 3 early entry players in our league. Now it's only 60 draft picks, something like that. We had 3 early entries from our league, 2 in the first round and 1 in the early second round. One of them was on our team, Landry Shaman. I mean, he would have been a junior this year for us, and we would have looked a whole lot better in November and December if we had him. But I understand that's just the way college basketball is these days. But for us and for me personally, it's the first time I've had to deal with it, and obviously I wasn't prepared. So it's a great league. When you've got Landry Shamet, who's doing great things with the Clippers, you've got Jacob Evans in the first round with the Warriors, and the Melvin Frazier went early from Tulane. I just saw the second, well, arguably the first or second best player from Tulane last year, a senior, and I'm drawing a blank on his name right now, Cameron something. He just signed a long-term contract with the NBA. So the league's got very, very good players, great coaches, national championship caliber coaches, guys that have won national championships or could win national championships one day, and it just seems to be getting better and better.
If I mispronounce his name, Jaime Ejimikwe.
Jaime or Jamie, he doesn't care.
You talked about he was one of the new faces early in the year, but his rebounding percentages are really impressive. He's good around the rim, it seems like, in his 2-point percentages, and obviously these last couple games he's been really good for you. Just how have you seen him grow this season?
Well, we had 3 post players. We had Midgard in the program as a freshman, but he played 80 minutes. He was my 3rd most experienced player coming into the year after playing 80 minutes. We had Poor Bear Chandler in prep school, and we'd signed him. And then we loved this kid, Morris Udeze, who was playing a lot as a freshman, true freshman early, and is out now with just had shoulder surgery. He had the labrum situation. So, but that being said, I saw Jaime Ejimikwe at a junior college workout, and I said, we've got to have this kid. I think he's got a real high ceiling. I love what he's able to do. And he became our best post player early on. And he started out, we were really, really good at one point early, and then he hurt his foot. He had plantar fasciitis, and he did that. We were up 7 at VCU, and he went down, and for a month, he didn't miss any games, but he wasn't healthy either. I should have just said, no, you're not playing, you're not healthy. But he kept saying, I can. He wanted to help. He's got a great heart, but he wasn't able to help us. And we weren't nearly as good because I was playing him and he was probably 60%. It's probably what Archie's dealing with now with Romeo because of the back. I mean, do you play him? Is he 100? Is it the right thing to do? So But we would not have been nearly as good as we were early in the year without Jaime. We wouldn't be nearly as good as we are now without, and he's not 100%. That thing's gonna take a while. I've had the same foot ailment, and it takes a while to go away. I mean, 6 months, a year, I don't know. But I can't imagine playing basketball with it. And his was much worse than mine. He's got as big as your fist, a big black spot on the bottom of his foot where it was bruised. So, but he's been great. I mean, he was wonderful in the Clemson game. Between he and Dexter Dennis, they held Marquise Reed to 5 for 20, who he averages 20 points in the ACC, and Elijah Thomas 2 for 8. So between those two guys, their best two players went a combined 7 for 28. It was because the defense by Dexter Dennis and Jamie Ichinike, and then obviously Jamie had a very good offensive game as well.
I was told, I don't know if it's correct or not, but is this your first time in Assembly Hall?
Yes, I've only been to Bloomington one other time. Back in the day, when I was an assistant coach at the College of Charleston, I drove up because we did everything by car. There was 3 events in a kind of a triangle, one in Lexington or Louisville, Kentucky, somewhere else, maybe Cincinnati, and here. So I like for 5 days, I just went in between the 3 events. And while I was here, I forget who was running those events back in the day, but it was a good event. It was in a big center where they have like 8 courts somewhere in town. And so I drove over here on my own and grab a bite to eat. And as I drove over by Assembly Hall, I actually saw Bob Knight walk out. It was in the evening. He was walking out of his practice or his office or whatever he was doing, and didn't know him at the time. I've met him since, but I did see him and didn't speak to him, but I've never been inside. This is my first time inside. So quite a building, quite impressive building.
Just curious, you saw one of Archie's teams a couple years ago in the tournament, I guess, as you prepare for
At Dayton.
Yeah. As you prepare for this, do you notice any similarities just personality-wise between his teams?
You know, to be honest with you, I broke down the Clemson film last night, and I'm going to start breaking down a little Indiana film today. So I can't tell you about that right now. My staff has been pouring over. We did some video and scouting report for Indiana this morning, and we did a little walkthrough in our practice today. But I can't tell you how similar or dissimilar they are to Dayton at this point. But I will tell you, his teams play really hard. That group that we played was at the end of an era. He had a bunch of seniors on that Dayton team, and we were fortunate enough to beat him in a game that could have gone either way. And we made a big 3 down the stretch, and we beat them, and then I think we lost in the next round to Kentucky. Always Kentucky.
You saw how your fans traveled so well a few years in the NCAAs. Are they going to the road NIT games?
You know, we had a great support in South Carolina, Furman on Wednesday, and then Clemson on Sunday. But I don't know how much of that is just the Shocker Nation and how well they travel, and my family just dressing up in yellow and black. Because I was in my backyard. We had a lot of fans. But our fans do travel really, really well. But this is hard, you know, because there's not a whole lot of notice. Then you don't know when the games are sometimes. At least we knew when this game was, but it was only a 48-hour turnaround. Well, actually a little longer, because we played at 2 o'clock on Sunday, and this will be 7 o'clock on Tuesday. But I do know that a couple of jets are fueling up right now. Friends of mine, people that I know in town, they're filling up their planes and heading this way. But I don't think it'll be a predominant yellow and black crowd based on how you guys draw.
Guys, we'll wrap it up here.
Okay.
Keep coach on schedule.
Okay, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.